Have you heard about the construction project in Ohio, in Columbus? The stimulus plan is going to build something on a bridge to keep people from committing suicide jumping off the bridge. This is part of the stimulus plan. That's Rebuilding America. I have details of this coming up as the program unfolds before your very eyes. Senate Budget Committee. Sorry, they need to rename themselves. The Senate Screw the Budget Committee. The Senate Screw the Budget Committee passed a spending bill that will triple our national debt. And they know they are doing it. And Warren Buffett, I hold you responsible. Paul Volcker, you too. Lawrence Summers, Christine Romer, your names are going to go down in history. A spending bill that will triple our national debt, and you say nothing? Of course, what can they say? We were just following orders. Shame on all of you. Shame on every economist who does not speak out. Shame on every journalist who doesn't report the obvious. Shame on every citizen whose kids are going to get stuck with this knife in the heart of responsible government. I mean, the very idea, folks, the very idea in the United States of America, anyone could suggest a plan so irresponsible, let alone vote for it. This could never have happened in our nation's first 232 years. Big deficits traditionally come as surprises. Things that you don't factor. A war, floods, famines, acts of God. But this budget is acts of man. This budget is acts of men and acts of men and women. Now, look, it's one thing for Obama to vote for Obama, one thing to root for Obama. But to go along with this hopelessly irresponsible scheme is nothing less than a national tragedy. And folks, don't be suckered. Don't get suckered in by the storyline here that we have to do this. We have to do this because of the economic slowdown. Because the dirty little secret is the truth. This idea was hatched long before this slowdown started. This is who Obama and the American left are. This plan has no relationship to the realities on the ground in the American economy today. This plan is being ramrodded through this irresponsible budget with total disregard for the practical realities based on current circumstances. Obama spoke of alternative energy before the slowdown. He spoke of universal health care before the slowdown. Obama spoke of federalizing education before the slowdown. He spoke of home mortgages, income redistribution, all of these things before the slowdown. Now, some of you out there are moved by stories of predatory lenders. You get all upset about all the stories of all the greed that takes place in the private sector, and yet all of you are being taken in by predatory politicians. We keep hearing about toxic assets on Wall Street. Let me tell you where the real toxicity is, if I can borrow the term from John Armour today. The real toxicity is in the U.S. Congress. Barney Frank and Chris Dodd, for example, just to name two, are toxic congressmen. They are toxic. They are poison members of our government. If the war, for example, cost $700 billion, and of course that was outrageous spending, they said, we can't, it's irresponsible. This spending spree of Obama's will add 10 to 12 times that amount to our national debt. I ask myself as I watch all this, can this really be happening? And it is. And then I ask myself, can this be stopped? Well, there aren't enough Republicans nor responsible Blue Dog Democrats to stop this. We don't have any checks and balances. We have no mainstream journalists to report reality. We can't even count on late-night comedians to get this right, because everybody is enthralled to Obama for whatever reason. The only real check and balance we have right now is the Chi-Coms. Folks, I'm telling you the truth. we have such and the European Union, Judd Gregg said it yesterday, we, with our level of debt based on this budget, could not even be admitted to the European Union, which is the focal point of Western socialism today. We couldn't be admitted. Our debt ratios and leverage are so high, we couldn't qualify for admission to the European Union. So the only real check and balance we now have is the Chi-Coms. And you might, well, what are you talking about? Well, the Chinese hold all of our debt. And the Chi-Coms are going along with this notion of a single currency because they think that we might do something to devalue our dollar even more. I mean, every time Geithner opens his mouth, folks, I mean, it's an earthquake in the financial markets. So the Chi-Coms, the question is, will they pick up the tab for all the trillions we are spending but don't have? And they've already said they're wary of it, and if they say they won't, then that's... do you believe... The one check and balance, we don't have a check and balance in the Senate. We don't have a check and balance in the House of Representatives. We don't have a check and balance set up in the media. The Chi-Coms. The Chi-Coms are our last hope. Yes, I realize what I'm saying snurdly, which is why I'm saying it. And by the way, for this, I will not apologize. The only check and balance we have on all of this purposeful irresponsibility is the communist Chinese. Because if they refuse to keep buying debt, then maybe something can change this. I have warned you and warned you again. If President Obama succeeds with this, our nation fails. Our nation is unalterably changed for generations. Here are the names of the Democrats on the Senate Judiciary or the Budget Committee who voted in favor of this. Patty Murray of Washington, Ron Wyden of Oregon, Russ Feingold of Wisconsin, Bobby Byrd, West Virginia, Bill Nelson of Florida, Debbie Stabenow of Michigan, Robert Menendez, New Jersey, the Lout, Frank Lautenberg of New Jersey, Benjamin Carton, Maryland, Bernie Sanders of Vermont, Sheldon Whitehouse from Rhode Island, Jeff Merkley, a Democrat from Oregon, and Senator Mark Warner, a Democrat, Virginia. The Chi-Coms remain our lone hope for a check and balance to this absolutely irresponsible, purposely irresponsible spending in echoing the Obama $3.6 trillion budget on top of all this other printing of money spending that we are doing. And in the meantime, and I'm going to get into this more as Obama's announced his new Afghanistan policy.